Okay, Olivia. Okay, so I didn't do great at the challenge of journaling every day, but I cut time out of my workday to really work through the videos and questions. I was able to identify a lot of my limiting beliefs and realize many areas where I have a fixed mindset or scarcity mindset. It was also fun to realize the areas where I have grown into a growth mindset and an abundance mindset. Okay, stop for a second. Yay! That's awesome. Like, you did that. You did that all by yourself. You had people that were giving you some kind of a sense of momentum, but ultimately the inner mechanics of you choosing to show up for yourself in this way this week were completely you. Okay. I think my biggest questions are, how do I leave that scarcity mindset, specifically around my health? I find that I always go all in, do awesome for 2 days, then make a misstep and throw in the towel. I find that pattern repeats in many areas of life, and I don't know how to stop the cycle. I just want a consistent, balanced, maintained practice. That's BS. Why do we want consistent, balance, and maintained? Is that exciting to you, honestly? Here's the thing. You don't want the routine, you want the result, right? If you already have the result, does it matter how you got there? Like, is there a way to alleviate the pressure of how you get to the end result that you desire? What if it happens faster and you're not super consistent and you just chose to accept yourself in the process? So something I've been really thinking on when it comes to money goals, when it comes to health, when it comes to anything that I personally desire, one of the things I've been thinking is this, and I think this is such a valuable thing to talk about as it relates to us talking about a journaling practice, a mindset work, all of that. The mindset work doesn't make us worthy, right? We're not suddenly worthy of 10K months or dropping 10 pounds because we did the mindset work. It was just that we suddenly believed that we were worthy. So all I'm saying is, what if we just move the mark and you just chose to believe that you're worthy because you are, not because you plus all these things means that you then deserve to make the money, lose the weight, feel happy, whatever it is. What if you could have it now? Would you care how you got there? Because I think that one of the things with how I coach people is I always want you to find a way to find a solution that leads you to increased choice. I believe that one of the top priorities of the unconscious mind is increased choice. And the more we seek options for ourselves, for our health, for our wellness, for our spirituality, for our business, for our money, for our relationships, all of that lead us to increased choices. You might be immediately thinking like, no, I'm overwhelmed already. No, the mind turns off when it thinks that it's limiting itself, when it thinks that its options are limited. When we have increased choices, we get to expand. It's just an opportunity to trust ourselves. So is the issue the consistency, or is it a trust issue? And I think this is a good thing to journal about. And I think some prompts for that I would take away are, if I fully and completely trusted myself, what would I let go of? What would I start doing? What would I accept? What would change? Okay, so that's where I would go first. Now, something I had started saying, I want to loop back around to, with the giving up on ourselves topic that's come up from multiple people during this challenge. Giving up on ourselves has a structure to it, and there are ways that you can determine how to release that structure and access the structure of success and expansion and momentum for yourself. Every one of you has a success strategy too. So you tell me, think about the last time you successfully completed a project that was really important to you. Think about it. It's happened. It has. Because you're here on day 5. There's one. Think about that time and ask yourself, like, what made this time, why was I able to follow through on this one? It doesn't have to be that anytime you commit to something, you must follow through on it. What if you just used it as an opportunity to get better at listening to yourself and honoring your lack of desire to do something? What if it's more about you try things, learn, and listen? How does that feel different to you than the balance and the consistency? What I want you to look for those of you who resonate with this idea of like, I commit to something and I don't follow through and I feel bad about myself, or I'm like upset with myself, or just kind of like low key frustrated, wondering what's wrong with myself, all of those thoughts. It's like hard to even say. Like my throat started tightening up. The thing with that is sometimes we view consistency as the result we want, when consistency in our unconscious mind feels like being held hostage. Like I'm in this like forced servitude and I don't want to do it. And I'm going to find ways to initiate my stopping strategy. Okay. And as soon as you commit to something, the commitment itself triggers in your unconscious mind your stopping strategy. Your foot moved from the gas onto the brake. Now, here are solutions for that. Number 1, don't make it mean so much. It's okay. What if it was fine? What if it wasn't a big deal? And like, let's use the example of this program or this free challenge. It's literally free. It's free. It's something that you chose, and it's okay. Like, what's the loss? What's the downside? Is it really that like, dang it, I'm losing something because I didn't follow through on this? Or is it, now I chose to believe about myself that I'm disappointing because I didn't follow through on this thing? I mean, the stakes are low, so this is a really good opportunity to look at this for yourself and use something that is like almost silly, right? It's funny because if we use a different example, we understand the ridiculousness of all the pressure we put on ourselves to follow through on things that aren't really that important, or that may not actually get us to the result we desire, right? We're just conditioned to think that A plus B equals C, when it might be A plus EFG equals Z. Like, we don't know the equation. We just think we do, and so we follow other people's formulas. So here's a reframe. This is what we call a context reframe, and this helps us see if this is a true thing all the time. I must be consistent all the time. If you were to challenge yourself to eat an entire pizza, and partway through you got full and said, I'm a terrible person for not eating this entire pizza, what would most people say to you? That's fine. Don't eat the whole pizza. That's not healthy for you anyway. What if your unconscious mind is just trying to protect you from what it believes is unhealthy for you? And you just need to, you can you have options for what to do with that information. So